WSL champions.
And welcome back to another episode of the Vic Akers Wonderland Podcast. It's me, Adam Salter, back in the hosting seat, alongside the lovely Lottie and the magnificent Matt in the hat. And I must admit, just watching that opening montage again, I saw that clip of Alex Scott lobbing the keeper from 30 yards out. I'm just thinking, oof, in a few days' time, we've got another European final to look forward to. Who would have thought it? 18 years, I believe it's been. And another weekend to make some more history, hopefully. But before that, we have, of course, got Manchester United, who came to the Emirates Stadium last game of the season to discuss. Matt, how has the last 2 weeks been? It has been a while since you've been on the air. There's been a few games, including a cup final that sadly we were not in. But how's it been?
I think I've really enjoyed it. I think it's also been much needed. Well, you look at social media and some of the team have actually gone on holiday, and I honestly thought the team were only going to have a little bit of a break post season. Well, I say post WSL season, but essentially you need that little bit of a rest before you realise, right, okay, I've got to go again. There are the other team who haven't had a break at all, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we'll go into that a bit further. But I've really enjoyed being able to sit back and relax now, knowing that the season's done and almost everything is sorted.
Indeed. Lottie, it's been, I mean, you were obviously, there was another game, it was a men's game at the weekend. Like the women, the men were doing their best to throw it away, but they got it over the line, and barring something spectacular and incredible and very unlikely, it is second place for Arsenal men as well. So we are one clubbing still.
I'm always one clubbing. I'm just glad the season's over.
Yes.
I am tired. I know we've got one more to go, but I'm tired. I've been to so many games this season, especially the second half of the season. I think I went to about 18 games in 10 days. No, 15 days. 8 games. Oh, I don't know. But it was a busy 2 weeks. It was a lot of the men, and then I had 3 extra women's games thrown in there, and I was silently dying.
We should say, because you shared a screenshot, I think it's in the chat, but you've won an award. You've won a very special award.
I attended all of the Arsenal women games and all the Champions League games, so I am now an invincible according to the app.
Congratulations.
So I was like, okay, fantastic. But
looking back, I think this is the first season since going to the women's games, I think I have been to every home game. Because the last 2 seasons, there's been one. I know I missed one home game because I was ill, and then the other season I missed one because
there's always one game you miss, and you haven't really done that this year.
But I don't. I think I've done all of them. Which I've
if you do want to double check which games you did go to at home, you can all log into My Arsenal Rewards, and then if you click on, I think it's bad. 1 second, I'm going to have to double check this. I think it's badges. You literally collect all the little badges of the clubs that you've seen on the app. So it's really stupid, but it's also like it's just something nerdy to do.
Yeah, I don't get that because of the way that my season ticket works. And
you don't get it. Because I was a men's member first, I do. Sorry.
Yeah, so mine is linked with that. So I don't get any rewards for my loyalty. But nonetheless, it's been a good experience. There's been a few stinkers. We'll be honest. Everton at home, Chelsea at home, but there's been plenty to celebrate and plenty to enjoy. And the game we're going to get into, Arsenal 4-3, Manchester United, was no different. What a way to close out the season. The teams, we'll just quickly run through. Manu was in goal. DVD wasn't fit. Could totally get, because obviously, we're saving her for the Champions League final. And then it's the usual back four, McCabe, Catley, Williamson, Fox, Mariona and Little in the pivot, which seems to be the staple going forward. Ford, Frida and Kelly behind Alessia Russo. So no real dramas on the team sheet. I think it's what we all roughly suspected. I think the only change from the Brighton game was that Kelly came in for Mead. But I mean, Manchester United, they've got Palace, Tullis, Joyce. For me, best keeper in the league this season. I mean, as much as I love Daphne, I think Tullis Joyce has been amazing. She's been reliable. It's one of the reasons they are so up in the table, that they're so secure at the back. But 2 minutes in, Lottie, I mean, did your jaw hit the floor when? Did you see it? Did you look away? I mean, reaction to what happened. You're on mute, Lottie.
Sorry, I had someone talking to me in the background. I do apologise. I think for me in that moment, it was just like, I don't know what's going on here. It was just a bit jaw dropping because I don't know. I don't know how to put the words. Come back to me in a minute and I'll put it into words for you.
Yeah,
Well,
what happened was, Arsenal get a good, decent bit of possession. We're only 2 minutes on the clock. We should say this goal is the quickest goal Arsenal have ever scored. Arsenal women have scored at Emirates Stadium. In the WSL at least, and maybe the Fox goal in the Champions League was quicker, I don't know, but for WSL, certainly this season, I think probably in history, quickest goal they've ever scored. Ruth hits a cross in, and Tullis Joyce comes to claim it, and she's claiming it. She's got this, she's claiming it, she's got this, and suddenly it's like a bar of soap. It just comes out of her hands, bounces, and Chloe Kelly, who I said had only scored 1 goal since coming out on coming on loan, coming back to Arsenal, and Lottie was very quick to reprimand me for that when Kelly scored her 2nd Arsenal goal.
Absolutely. I was present for both her goals, like you were.
Great composure to take advantage of the opportunity because it was quite the blunder, and dink it over the keeper into the net. Matt, will come to you. Goalkeepers Union. How has Tullis Joyce messed that up?
I think this is just a case of she thinks she's got 2 hands on it and the grip's not tight enough. It is just one of those that if the ball is slipping, you let it drop and then let it bounce and then you pick it up again. She doesn't realise that Chloe Kelly's that close into her. It's good instincts from Chloe Kelly. I'm not going to take anything away from her because that's what the best players do. It's not just always about, say, Alessia Russo being there in the box doing what Chloe Kelly's doing. Sometimes you need those other players to be doing that as well. And it was just simple. She just simply didn't get enough of a grip on it, and unfortunately for United, fortunate for Arsenal, fortunate for Chloe Kelly, she gets to add another goal in the tallies.
It was notable when you watch the replay back when the ball slips out of grass. Tullis Joyce turns the wrong way. She's completely lost track of everything. She turns the one way, the ball goes the other, and Chloe. I mean, I don't know about you, Lottie. I don't know what I love more: the goal, or the fact that Kelly was badge tapping and celebrating in front of the Manchester United fans.
She would do that. I'm gonna say it. It's just the shithousery, and that's what we love. I mean, she's one of our own. She always has been, regardless if she's been up at the City or not. But there's something about Chloe Kelly and scoring against Man United. There's something always there, and it's like she's found her spark again, because I felt like she lost it when she was at Man City. She's kind of left and she's kind of reset herself in a different environment. So it's just nice to see her smiling again and actually kicking on.
Did she not badge tap in front of the North Bank when she scored for Man City? I just see people on social saying that she does like to do
graphic proof.
So it's nice when the boot. It's nice when the boot's on the other foot. And there was a very nice picture. I think it was on the Instagram. Lotte with a Moy posted it because Chloe was a picture celebrating, and Lotte's like saying, "Come on, Chloe, when are you going to when's it going to be announced?" Now I think contract expiry. I did actually have this.
Be July the 31st. Most contracts to finish.
Yeah, it's either 30th or 31st. I'm usually more professional than this.
But usually, essentially,
Serena likes to have things wrapped up before tournaments, so hopefully we'll have it by then.
Yeah, essentially, by the 1st of August, any free player you can go and get, basically, is the answer. There are some high-profile players actually out of contract this summer as well.
There are some, so keep an eye on that. Well, we know 3 already, which is obviously, Tara, we think we know where she's going to go, but obviously Lena and Amanda are on the market, so we'll see how they do. But yeah, hopefully this summer, the clock is ticking, but hopefully Kelly will stay as an Arsenal player. Hopefully we've managed to convince her, and she's been convinced by us, and it feels like the natural course of things, but it's the transfer window. Who knows what might happen? As for this game, I thought it was going to be smooth sailing from here. Obviously not. Manchester United come back into this because, as much as I may decry them, they are a thoroughly decent team. They are really well coached, and they got the nudge back. Before we get to the goal, I want to say shout out to Manuel Zinsberger. Matt, I come back to your goalkeepers union. What a save from Grace Clinton! That I thought goal. I thought she top bin this. Like I was saying, I could see her winding up into the box. I thought she's going to go for shots. It's perfect. Manu, I mean, she got a lot of pelters against off the Villa games and the Brighton games, but I think she fully redeemed herself here.
Sometimes it takes for those mistakes to happen before it finally clicks for you, and I think it's the fact that she's playing 3 games in a row, and that's helped her. And she's got that confidence back up in her, and she's got that belief back in herself as well. So many times when someone's gone one-on-one with Manu, you've always backed Manu in the past to make that save. And she is a fantastic goalkeeper. She's a fantastic one-on-one shot stopper as well. She is a very, very good goalkeeper. Let's not make any mistakes. That is just the fact that Daphne this season has been able to surpass her because of both managers have looked at her and realised that she is a higher addition than Manu is in goal, and there's no shame to it. It's just but I'll just quickly go on. Sometimes when you have that new goalkeeper, there's a bigger belief in the new goalkeeper than there was when the old goalkeeper comes back in. And sometimes it's small things like that where if you don't have that belief anymore, then the small things of getting balls off the line and things like that, that doesn't happen. Those box shots that used to happen, that doesn't happen as often. And but Manu is, I think, if this was one of her last games, even if I know you're going to come to the goal, but she got a hand on that.
It was superb technique, and I was going flashback to the Kirby goal in Brighton, which she didn't get to, but she got to this one. And when I saw that save, I thought, yeah, Manu's on song. Obviously, she conceded 3 goals, but I think we can all agree that I wouldn't put any blame to those 3 goals on Manu at all. But as you say, unfortunately from the corner, and it doubly annoyed me because obviously it's set piece, and secondly it's right after the Manu save, and it just sort of it undermined it because we immediately conceded from it. It's a set piece, and I was at the LSV when we conceded in a very similar way. We lost the first header. Toon's free to nod, and it's a very good header. Nods it past Manu. Manu can't get to it in the back of the net. 1-0. I mean, Lottie. I mean, from high to low, it was a bit of a frustrating turn of events for us.
No, it was a little bit annoying, but it was going to be one of those games we were fighting for second spot, and we were scrapping out the season. There's no denying, as much as I despise Man United as a fan as a whole, they've had a very, very good season, whether we like to accept it or not. It's just a case of I felt like during this game, who wants it more? By sort of half time, it was like, okay, where's it going to go from here? And I understood why you went very quiet. Now I reflect on it. So, because I was normally during the games, just so people know what I'm talking about, where me and Matt sit now, we can usually hear Adam narrating away, and it's just like, if you can't see down the other clock end, just give Adam a listen. It's all good. But yeah, you went very, very quiet, which was very, very weird.
Yeah, I basically, if I was just sort of staring at the pitch, I don't. If it's going wrong, if I'm nervous, I usually commentate.
It was a draw.
It wasn't draw, but because it was so knife edged, and I couldn't. It was absolutely in the balance. I thought both sides pretty much catch each other up because whenever I watch Arsenal play Man United, and I should say I've until this game, every time I've been to a Man United game, we haven't won. So I was feeling I was a bit of a bogey fan in that
Doesn't
sense.
exist anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore, thankfully. Thank
No
goodness for that.
curse.
But no curse. But they are very competently set up, very competently defensively set up. Obviously, they were missing Jed Riviere, which is obviously a massive loss. They've had to rejig the defence, but they were doing very well to catch up out. We weren't very fluent. There were a few half chances. I mean, Frieda had a chance. Russo, I think, had a header that went wide. Man United hit the bar. I think it was Bize, I think it might have been, or Galton, I forget who, but they had a chance right near the half where they burst down the flank, and then they've got so much talent, the likes of Mallard, the likes of Galton. I mentioned BJ Clinton too, and they've got so much talent in attack, and they've got a really good structured defence. They've got a really good goalkeeper. They're a really competent setup. I think Mark Skinner is. I don't think he's a world-class manager, but I think he's a decent manager. Certainly better than some of the other managers who occupy top club jobs.
Things are working from him at the moment. I find with him, from what I've seen, it'll work. You find something that works for a little while, and then he gets rumbled, and then he has to go back to the drawing board.
I think that's very true.
It worked from this season.
Yes, I think it worked from this season. And 2 seasons ago, he had.
I don't want to take it away from Man United, but that's just how it is.
I think that's a very, very good observation. I fully agree. I think 2 seasons ago, we had a team that was working, and they went very close that season, didn't win the league, and then that team collapsed. We got Russo, great. The likes of Mary Epps left the season after, so did Katie Zellem the season after. Alni Batu went to Barcelona. He's now rebuilt a team we've got now who are looking very good. Got to a cup final, didn't beat Chelsea, which I think we all pretty much expected, but obviously they're in Europe for next season, as are we. I think he's done a very competent job, and considering the lack of support he gets from upstairs, which I think is, rivals aside, is disgraceful. So despite that,
but let's be honest, Ratcliffe doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, the girls got kicked out of their facilities to make room for the men's team. They've qualified for Champions League without winning a trophy, and they tried to retain their title, and he couldn't even bother to turn up to London. Do you know what I mean? Which I think is it Serena Williams? She flew in for the game with her husband.
Yeah. Who's recently invested 10%, got 10% stake in Chelsea Women now.
Just disgusting.
At 1-1, half time. Lottie, what were your thoughts then? Just quickly.
Yeah, it was very chilled. All to play for. I wasn't worried in the slightest.
Well, I was, but I'm a pessimist and a coward on these ones. Matt,
you are.
I am. I will shamelessly admit to that. Matt, what were your thoughts at half time?
In general, I thought Arsenal were the better team. It was just they weren't getting those opportunities to actually. It felt very much like there wasn't that confidence to go and have those shots, and I think that was the problem. Is that okay? They've limited Man United, but Man United could easily be in front, even though. But it was just very frustrating when it happens, because on a good day, when Arsenal are having shots after shots, you could go back to any time Arsenal drawing, or even in the Champions League this season, say Madrid, half time that happens, and you're just thinking they're not shooting. Just put your shooting boots on at half time and go for it. That was my worry. It was as well, if they do go too far forward, United are going to hit you, as you said a bit earlier on with the talent that they have.
On the count, they're very good. I mean, there was a few moments in the first half on the transition. You got the likes of Mallard up front, who's a very, very dangerous striker, and for me, he's criminally underplayed at Man United. I think he's a brilliant player. But interesting, you mentioned about sort of second halves. We have become a bit of a sort of second halvesy sort of team. I think about both. One clubbing. The men's team recently, second half against Liverpool, second half against Newcastle for us, second half against Real Madrid, second half here, just turn the wick up. I mean, Man United make us up at half time, which was Elizabeth Turlins was another forward coming in for Sandberg. Now, I wasn't sure if this was a tactical or an injury issue. I believe that they were playing in the back three in the game, and bringing on this substitution, Turlin was sort of shifted into a back four. I don't know if there was a tactical reason or if it was the Sandberg injury. I think Mark Skinner thought that he could take Arsenal. I think he saw a situation. I thought it was 1-1, 45 minutes to go. he knows that if Man United win, which I think they were fully capable of doing, they'll get second place, which has its perks, which we'll get to. And I reckon he thought, I reckon I could take Arsenal here. I reckon I could do, and I reckon he threw the extra attacker on to do just that. What happened was ridiculous, because 5 minutes after the break, Caitlin Ford on the left side twists the fullback inside and out, bursts into the box, and Grace Clinton brings her down, and it's a penalty to Arsenal. Lottie, did you? I mean, I thought maybe Kim Little might take this, but which way do you think this was going to go? Do you think it was going to be Mariona's kick?
Oh yeah, I did. Thing is, I know when Mariona's going to kick it, because Chloe Kelly's standing there on the spot with the ball, and I'm like, you're not taking the penalty, put the ball down. Because where if it's Kim, she likes to have the ball in her hand straight away. So yeah, no, it was just another standard penalty from Mariona. Buried every time,
you don't have any doubt if she's up to the spot that she's gonna. She's only missed one, and that was unlucky. It came off the post. That was a wet Liverpool, but everything else, boom, tucked away, reliable.
Yeah.
Definitely taken the mantle of penalty taker off Kim Little. It's the first time that Mariona's taken the penalty with Kim Little on the pitch. I think that is as pretty much as definitive.
Adam, do you have the stats on the penalties this season? Just because I'm pretty sure that the stat is higher than it was last season. I know we missed a load last season.
We did. I would wager that we've scored more from the spot this season than last season. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know I can think more of the misses last season.
Kim Little.
Yeah, well, last 2 seasons, I should say. Previous 2 seasons, it's been McCabe's missed one, Kim Little's missed them. But yeah, Mariona looks like she is the one in this instance. 6 minutes later, obviously Arsenal now 2-0 up, Mariona tucks it away. 6 minutes later, it's 3-1. Frida Liotta-Mornham places the ball, superb finish beyond Tallis Joyce. And the beauty was where we were sat, this was at our side of the halfway line. So they're all in front of us. We've got brilliant view of all these goals. Pass down the flank. It's a 50-50 on the halfway line. The ball rolls down the wing. Frida chases after it. The ball stays in. She plays it back to Frida. And basically Frida plays grandmother's footsteps on the defender. She sneaks behind the back. I think it was Laetitia. Sneaks from the back of her. She's not looking where she's going. McCabe plays a superb ball straight into the box that Frida can rush to and strokes it past the keeper. I mean, Lottie, she's blown hot and cold this season, but this was a superb finish and superb goal to put us 3-1 up.
Yeah, it makes a change her to score like that in the North Bank, because normally she's a clocker and girly. What? She only scores bangers down the other end. I'm not naming them because we all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, it's been building up for a while for Frida. I mean, she's hot and cold, been hot and cold for a while, and it's just been hitting the bars constantly, and it's just for her to finally get her goal just before the final is just what we needed.
We need her in form.
She's going to win us, as we sing. She's going to win us the Champions League.
Yeah. She had a similar chance in the first half, and it very annoyingly just curved away at the last minute. It just looked like it was going to go in, but this time she gets it straight and narrow, bottom corner. We'll just quickly shout before we get to the fourth goal. There was probably one of the great refereeing farcicals to add to the many refereeing farcicals against WSL. I mean, at this point we're running high. It's 3-1 up. I think everyone's thinking, crikey, but because we should just say for clarity, Man United were wide open. I have never seen this Man United side this season, I think, this open. And Arsenal were just tearing into them at will. We just were having chance after chance after chance. And I'm just thinking we've got to cash in here, because there's no way this is going to last. But this is why I think with defensive substitution, taking off Sandberg, bringing Turland on, they lost defensive numbers at the back. It opened them up, and I thought fair play to Arsenal, capitalised. But I think the ball bounces around loose on the side of the box. McCabe and one of the players, I forget who it was challenging with it. I mean, Matt, you had obviously the benefit of the television replays from where you were. I mean, I think everybody in the stadium, apart from the referee, could see the ball's clearly been handled by the Man United defender.
Yeah, this is one of those
I think
ones
wasn't
where
it Bizet?
Might have been Bizet, yeah. It might have
It
been
was
Bizet,
her and Caitlin Ford.
there have been so many times this season where we've had instances where actually I'll go back to the Goodson Park game, the Merseyside derby, because there was a handball. It was on the edge of the area, but it was given as a penalty. There has been instances like that in cities. I think Man City have had one as well. I think it was the week after that derby as well, where they were given a free, or maybe it was against Arsenal. It was a free kick. It was a free kick that, yes, it was
Yes.
Arsenal Man City
Yes,
this season.
yes. Steph Catley
Yeah,
fouled the player outside the box, and she fell into
outside.
the box.
It's one of those where if the referee doesn't see it, then they need the help of the assistant, and if the assistant can't say, I don't know if it's difficult to say, but yes, it should have been a handball, and yes, it should have been a penalty.
It's one of those ones when you
time.
if you read the room, like, I know fans will like protest for any decision, but the sheer noise in the stadium when it happened, like I don't think I've heard not goals aside, but just as an incident, I don't think I've heard the Emirates and the women's game be that loud towards a refereeing decision. And I think there was just incredulity in the stand that it wasn't given. And we can only assume that simply because the ref didn't see it. Now, if the ref didn't see it, they can't guess. But usually, even though you can tell by player reaction and fan reaction that something's happened here, but unfortunately, if the ref can't see it, and if the official, as you say, Matt, who's on the side, if they haven't spotted it either, it can't be given. And it was just really frustrating because my feeling then was right, we've got to win this now, because if we don't, everyone's going to point back at that penalty call, even though we're getting chance of chance. And thankfully, we do get that fourth goal. Chloe Kelly jinking down the right-hand side, rolls it to Kim Little, brilliant first touch, and drills it past the keeper for 4-1, if you're not keeping track of the score. 4-1 at this point. I mean, Lottie, were you eyeing up a cricket score at this point?
You was. I can say that much. You was. I could vouch for that. At this point, yeah, I was just quite comfortable with it. I was enjoying it. 4-1 up. I mean, I just needed Russo to score, and then I would have made my day.
Yeah, so we should say the top. Well, two reasons. One, because obviously the narrative, and two, she was tied with Golden Boot for the Golden Boot with Bunny Short. Although I say she's the outright winner because she got one more assist, but one goal from Russo, she would have won it outright. First open play goal for Kim Little since 2022, which was against Brighton in the opening game of the 22-23 season. So it's been a while. There's been a few, own goals that have, taken goals off her, and she's mainly been on the penalties this season. That's also her first league goal of the season. She's only scored twice this season. The other one was a penalty against Rangers way back at the beginning of the season. So yeah, Kim Little very much not on the goal scoring anymore, but she scored here. I thought it was a wonderful moment for her and obviously the team, and it's 4-1 up. And at that point, you're looking at the clock and it's 30 minutes to go, and you're thinking, right, how many more can we get? Because it's clear that Man United have completely folded, and there's no way back for them. There's no way, there's no chance, and oh dear. Again, it's a flashback to Brighton. It's playing out from the back, and it's Katie McCabe and Matt. This is a howler at the back, isn't it?
What strikes me as odd is she's got a free player in the midfield to aim for. Instead, because she's been closed down, she goes, right, I'll go and launch it into the midfield area, the middle third / defensive third area, where United are already at. I think it's Grace Clinton that actually picks up the ball. But it's just one of those where if you've got to see a defender going, the saying is, when in doubt, get it out.
Just go up the wing.
Aim for the throw-in area, or aim to hoof it up as high as possible and get it away. And if it happens to hit one of the players on the head, and it would most likely goes for a goal kick. I don't know what Katie McCabe was thinking of at the moment. It was just really a moment of madness, and I think it was almost 5 minutes of madness from McCabe, to be honest.
Yeah, 70 minutes. I think she should have played it up the wing. I think she's aiming for Mariona in the midfield, but she gets it horrifically wrong. It comes to Turland, a fair play to Turland, very quickly, got the shot off, takes a deflection, which beats Manu. And it's always one of those weird ones. You watch it, you see Manu's made the dive, and it's her side, but it's gone to,
She's got a hand to it, but she's not quite got enough.
The deflection's caught her out, and it's in the net, and it's 4-2. Now we should say for the great escape of the game, Arsenal only needed a point to guarantee second place. So we didn't need to win it. We just needed a point. So I'm looking at the clock and thinking, right, okay, get the calculators out. It's 20 minutes to go. Manchester United need to score 3 goals in the next 20 minutes in order to take second place off us and move us into third place. So it's an annoyance, and it's obviously frustrating because thinking we were so dominant and we were hammering away, and we have gifted them, and that's sort of been the vibe of the last 2 games. There's so many goals against Brighton and against Aston Villa. We've just been gifting goals with real sloppiness, and some people were saying that was obviously down to Manu, but I think that's also down to the defence, and we saw that again here. But 6 minutes later, to almost compound the error, McCabe gives away a very silly penalty, Lottie.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. The last 3 games, I just think we've been very severely hungover from Lyon. Like, it's something missing, and that's all I can say about it. It's just switching off all the time. I mean, I just hope they don't do it Saturday, but I don't know what it is. It's just switching off is just, why? We're almost over the line. Why are you not concentrating? I know they've played a lot of minutes this season, but we couldn't afford to lose this game, to be honest.
No, we can. Bizet chops inside Katie McCabe, and Katie McCabe falls for it. It's a lazy swipe. It's a player, I think, who's played too many minutes and really should have been rotated out with someone like Nice Wonga. But, we saw the good and the bad of McCabe. Brilliant pass to set up Mafrida in the start of the second half, and then these 2 sloppy moments. And I think you're mentioning, Matt, about the holidays. I think the players badly needed this time off, just something to recharge, because I think they've been running to the ground, and I can understand why. They've been playing pretty much non-stop since August. They need something to recharge the batteries, so I think they look knackered. And to be honest, Letitia scores a penalty very well. It's 14 minutes to go. Man United now need 2 goals to take it off us, and at that point I'm going back into quiet mode, and I'm just sort of staring at the clock and willing it to go down. Thankfully, Arsenal did turn to their bench. They brought on the likes of Leah Velti and Beth Mead, and I think that just helped sort of get a bit more control back in the game. I think Arsenal, fair play to them, managed the game. I think when it went to a 1 goal rather than a 2 goal gap, when it went to 1 goal, I think that was when the team went, right, okay, let's not try and do anything stupid and chase the game. Let's just kill the game. Let's control the game. Rene brought on more, likes of Lottie with Amoy, like Adina, just to gum up the works, bring the defenders on. And fair play to them, they were able to ride out the game for only our 3rd 4-3 win of the season. We've had 3 of them, just absolutely crazy. And I mean, on the performance, where do you sort of sit with that one, Matt? Is it positive the way that we disregard the last 20 minutes because, yes, they were self-inflicted stupid moments, and if we take that aside, we were actually really good, or is that a concern going into the big one next weekend?
You take away the most important points from it. Essentially, it's 5-minute madness from Casey McKay, and you just say, look, this is what Barcelona are capable of. If you do that within 5 minutes, they're probably scoring 3-4 goals in those 5 minutes alone. You cannot do that. But you could go down the route of, if you're fatigued, if you're too tired, playing pretty much a minute of every single game this season, you're going to have that problem, and minutes need to be shared. And unfortunately, this season, Casey McCabe, Leah Williamson have been more error prone, shall we say. I'm sorry to the YouTubers. They're going to have to see every time Lottie moves the screen, she's going to have a photo of me from the European Championship final.
That's fine. I'm really not fussed. I'm sure people don't want to see me sneezing. Well, don't worry.
With that win, as you say, Matt, with the win, we have finished second. Now that does bring us benefits. I should give a shout out for Mariona Caldente has won this season the Player of the Season, the WSL, the Women's Professional Game Player of the Season, the Arsenal Women's Supporters Club Player of the Season, and Arsenal's Player of the Season. I think we can all agree she has been incredible. She has changed this team, and under Renee, she's been superb. And if Arsenal got a cat and hell's chance of winning anything against Barcelona, she's going to be key to it. And she was awarded that full time with some pictures of her on the pitch. She was a very funky looking trophy, I must admit, but she was given a lot of awards at full time and did a speech to the crowd. And I think it's wonderful how quickly she settled into the team, because sometimes with a big signing, it takes a season or a season and a half, but she's been straight in pretty much, clicked in, and has been such a wonderful player for us, and can't wait to see her play in the final again. Speaking of Europe, so second place. So the rules are Man United have finished third. They will now start off in the second round of qualifiers. There are 3 rounds. The first qualification round we don't worry about, when England have nothing to do with that. So Man United come in at the second, and it's very much like what we had this season, which is your 4 teams in a mini tournament. You get a third place playoff in the final, and so on. And they on the 27th, 30th of August. So they have a really early start to the season, which is not great for them, because obviously we've got the Euros this summer. Arsenal will start at the third round. This is the 2-legged playoff. So basically like a few seasons ago when we had Ajax away, home and away, it's that sort of gig. Both of us are in the league path. I don't think we can play each other. I think the UEFA will stop 2 teams from the same league playing against each other. But there will be some seedings, but I don't know how the seedings exactly will work. At the moment, and I've got the teams here, because there's quite a few interesting teams Arsenal could play against. If I just get my tab up. So Arsenal at the moment are with Sporting CP, Sporting Club, Atletico Madrid, who we didn't play in the qualifiers, because even though they played at Meadow Park, we got very lucky. They went out on a penalty shootout. Real Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt, and a familiar name, Paris FC. So we could have them. So those are at the moment 6 teams who are definitely in the round 3 part on the league path. In the previous round, the Manchester United side, now one of these teams we could end up facing. So there's Manchester United now. I don't think we can face them, but we've got Braga, Inter Milan, Roma, BK Häcken. Obviously, we played them this season. Hammarby, Sparta Prague, PSV Eindhoven. The second place team in the Danish league, that hasn't been decided yet, so we're still waiting on that one. Brann, that's from Norway. Austria Wien, Metalist 1925 Kharkiv. What a name. FC Minsk, Valor, Glasgow City, and Aktobe. But they have all got to go through their, I said, the semi-final, final, third place, etc. So it'll be a small portion of those teams will come through and play us. So, keep an eye out on that. Now, there is a caveat, which is if we beat Barcelona, fingers crossed, we will actually there will be no qualifications. We'll go straight into the league phase. So, even more of an incentive. I don't know. We might bump Chelsea out. I don't know how it all works out. At the moment, Chelsea are in to be one of the main starters. Now, if we lose to Barcelona and we lose our playoff against whoever that might be, we don't exit Europe. Instead, we drop into the new Europa League. So we'll still have a chance to go in playing European games. It just depends if we're in the Champions League, Europa League, and in the Europa League, we'll go in at the last 32 stage. It's pure knockout, all the way to the top, where there is a 2-legged playoff. And if you remember, just a quick side note, those silly third place playoff games we used to have in the qualifiers, which seem absolutely meaningless, they now have meaning, because they will, if you lose a third place playoff, you will drop into the Europa League. Hope that's clear for everyone. Now, moving on to some quick touch on some news. Firstly, big happy birthday to Danielle Carter, brilliant number 9 for Arsenal. Sadly, lost her ending at Arsenal was pretty bad because she had her ACL injury, so we were sort of robbed of that. But of course, she memorably scored the winner against Chelsea in the FA Cup final. She'll always be a legend for that. So many happy returns, Danielle. Big congratulations to Arsenal's Academy for winning the Capital Women's Cup the other night against Dulwich Hamlet, 2-0 to them. So big congratulations to them. But a few things I wanted to touch on in terms of the wider game before we move on to the final. And I'll come to you first for this one, Matt, and that is Goodison Park. For those who don't know, Goodison Park is now the home of the Everton Women after the Everton Men have departed to go to, is it called the Dickinson Hill Stadium? I believe it's known on the
it's
on the Liverpool docks.
other way around, the Hill Dickinson.
Hill Dickinson. I keep double thinking it.
It's one way or the other. You're
Yeah,
close
Hill
enough.
Dickinson Hill. I keep wherever it is. That's the name of the stadium. But the women's team will get Goodison Park because they're leaving Wharton Hall Park to the stadium, which we should note used to hold the record attendance for a women's football match when the Dick Kerr ladies played St Helens all the way back in 1929. So it's got a lot of heritage of women's football, and now it's the home of the Toffees, the female Toffees. So fantastic news, Matt, for your team.
Yeah,
Other
you
team.
say that. It's good news for the Blues. I think the best person, someone I can't remember the Twitter handle or whoever put it, but there was a lot of arguments about them not playing at Goodison Park. The rumor always was that Goodison Park was always going to be an option for the women, because there was different options for what was going to be the legacy of Goodison Park. If my friend who has a little girl, if he wants to take her to Goodison Park, and Everton Women are playing, say Arsenal or Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Southampton in 5-10 years when these teams are going to eventually expand into the WSL, he's going to want to sit there and go, let's go to Everton. And he's going to want to give those opportunities to get his little girl inspired. And I can think of no other greater reason to be given a stadium, and fans should be getting on board with that, is that if you're benefiting not just one person from potentially inspiring them to become play football, then do it. And I think I've spoken to a few people and had this happen at Highbury, where the women were allowed to play at Highbury. It would have been an interesting. I say they took it away from the men when the men went to at the Emirates, and then the women had Highbury instead. It would have been an interesting story, but we'll never know because they decided to change that narrative. But to be able to inspire the local community and wider community, or especially if you're a Blue fan that supports Everton, it's important to keep that going. And I wanted to try and keep it as short as possible because we're going to have another thing.
It's fair. We've got a lot to go through, but I think that's actually right. I mean, I do wish that they could have given Highbury to the women's team. Sadly, the women's game was not where it was then. It is now. I think if the opportunity was now, I think they would do it. Obviously, they made it into flats instead, and I totally get why that is. They've got to pay up the stadium debt for building the Emirates Stadium, and that was a logical thing to do. And it was a good money selling. People have houses there now, but it would have been nice to have kept that heritage going and kept football playing there, but it wasn't to be. But I think fair play to Everton. That's the right decision to make, and I can't wait for the next WSL season and having games at Goodison Park. And I've never been to that stadium.
I want to see you all up here.
Well, this is the thing. You can never get a ticket for Wharton Hall Park because there was never enough seats. But now there's plenty of seats. So I hope that having been given that stadium, it will take a while for it to build up and fill up. But the Merseyside derbies will be special there, and I hope that again, if Everton new ownership, they've given Brian Sorensen a new contract, they are starting to look a bit more like the team. Let's not kill ourselves. Everton have won FA Cups before. They've won the league before. They are a big hitter. Just haven't won anything recently, but that doesn't mean they're not a good team. They have good heritage, and I hope that will now be rewarded. From good news to bad news, and I'm coming to you for some, Lottie. Rebrand is the buzzword going around. For those who don't know, Michelle Kang has recently renamed the Olympic Lyonnais to basically turn it into like a lioness. To sort of say that to sort of align it with this lioness thing, which I thought was absolutely bonkers. That came out earlier today, but that's not the worst rebrand. The worst rebrand is, of course, the rebranding of WSL, and the WSL Championship have been given a new name, a new color scheme. What were your thoughts, Lottie?
What in the Mickey Mouse Microsoft Paint job is that? No, I'm not impressed. I actually despise it. You didn't need to fix something that wasn't broken in the first place.
Yeah, I quite like the old logo.
No, there's no different. Sorry, differentiation. I probably said that wrong. Between the WSL and the Championship, we're now all one. It looks like one league. I mean, they spoke about getting rid of relegation. That backfired to the fans' backlash. But you now look at the social media pages. There's no difference.
It's
And
quite confusing, isn't it?
how
Because
are
you look
players
at the
are supposed
feed.
to say, "Oh, I won the WSL." Oh no, sorry, it's WSL 2. Like, you don't need to do that. The championship's the championship for a reason. It's just as tough as the WSL, but the WSL is just that next level up. Why rebrand something when there's clubs out there that are struggling to meet the minimum required to be a championship side? I will never call it the WSL2. It's just not going to happen.
It's actually a backward step because it used to be called the WSL2 when it was first created back in 2014.
We're going back to archaic times. Like, why?
And it was. I mean, I'll just say from my work with Wikipedia, there used to be a combined Wikipedia page. I've since split it up, but it used to be all in one. And it was very confusing then. So it makes no sense. The logo is the same. There was a very funny moment where somebody using their investigative skills on Reddit discovered the copyrighted logos that they'd done and posted them on social media before the big announcement.
It's absolutely
egg
ridiculous.
on their faces once again. Again, this whole it's rather frustrating because I appreciate they want to do things and want to change things and make things better, but the problem is everything they do is rubbish. I can't think off the top of my head of them having made a decision that I've gone, yes, I think that's a really good decision. I like it.
When you look at that board, none of them are actual football fans. Oh yeah, let's just invest in this. Like, there's nothing in it for me, and there's just so much that they can invest in. Like,
I mean, if you're looking at the wider
Blackburn
picture,
Rovers is a prime example. VAR, goal line technology, underfunded community programs to create new pathways for players.
You're not suggesting
I mean,
you
there's
want
so much.
VAR in the WSL, are you, Lottie?
No, but it's one of the examples of what we should be doing.
Yeah.
But I think investing in programs and go on.
Sorry,
it's fine.
No, it's just
it's fine. I'm finished. Go on. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be down to the fact that a lot of these people aren't from UK, so they want to do things that are very. They just want to try and globalize everything. So that means that they have to try and find an audience, and everything they're doing is backlash because it's British supporters who support these clubs, and they don't understand the British audience at all.
It's very confusing decision, and I hope at some point that change gets undone. Whether it be this season, next year, I don't know. But you just know it's one of those nonsense things where they've obviously thought about it like loads and spent loads of money, and had many teas and biscuits, and thought, yes, this is the best I can come up with. Something that looks like as you said, Lottie, a word art project from a secondary school student who wants to throw a few colours onto a screen. That's the title for my essay. Very poor.
That's upgrading it. I said Microsoft Paint. That's upgrading
right. For me, it's word art, but that's just obviously my experience at school. But the graphic designers who got paid from the WPLL to make that will be laughing all the way to the bank. And fair play to them, because they've sold them a kipper. They're dreadful. Sadly, that'll be the patches on our sleeves. So I'll be going for the Champions League patches next season.
Yeah, I won't be buying any of that. What are your thoughts on the cup font? The new WSL font?
Yeah, unfortunately so. But speaking of the Champions League and Champions matches and Champions League, we are still in the Champions League because we are in the Champions League final. Only our second ever European final. I should say I put a post out earlier. We are the only team in Europe who have a 100% record of success rate in European finals, and of course the only side in Europe to get to a final and not concede a goal. Something tells me one of those stats is going to, or both, will change at the weekend. So Saturday the 24th, 5 o'clock kickoff. Our time obviously will depend where you are around the world, live on TNT and DAZN at the Estadio José Alvalade, which is Sporting Lisbon's ground. And we are playing Barcelona. Record, I believe, is 2 wins and 2 defeats in competitive matches. We beat them home and away in 2012. They beat us home and away in 2021. I was there for the Emirates game, and they were just absolutely superb. Just the best.
So was Lottie.
Yeah, no,
I think.
yeah, but it was yes, we've lost it. But
She
I don't
does
think
not
she
look
wants.
amused. I think
Yeah, I
I've
don't think she
really
wants to
hit
reflect on that
nerve.
game
I
too
do
much. But
apologise.
it was the first time I'd watched Barcelona in person, and you realise you're watching football that was on another level. Incredible team, incredible talent. We saw what they did against Chelsea in the semi-final. Um, yes, it's the first time first time we've actually been to Portugal to play a game. We obviously had the winter camp, winter training um, last season when Emily Fox was leaked online, which was very funny. But yeah, first time we've got a competitive game there. And if Kim Little plays, she will match Arsenal legend Emma Burns' European appearance record for Arsenal, which I think is fully deserved. And I hope that she'll be wearing the captain's armband and leading the team out. It's going to be a very, very special day. So myself and Lottie will be there in the stands, along with many, many Arsenal fans who are travelling over. It's going to be quite the occasion. Matt, you're going to be at Emirates Stadium because they are showing the game at Emirates Stadium for fans who unfortunately can't make it, which I think is a wonderful touch. I think did they do it for the PSG Champions League game as well for the men's? So
Yes.
yes, is it? I don't know if they're going to do. I don't know if they're just going to like stick you in like the club and watch it, or if it's going to be
They
like a
are
big screen on
doing
the
it
pitch.
at club level. I was there in 2014 when they did it for the FA Cup final
Cup.
against Hull, and that was actually sitting on the down on the pitch level. I think it was the East Stand at the time.
Yeah.
And just sitting and watching the game. Everyone was a bit scattered out, but it was worth doing because it was just such a nice day and good memories. I'm hoping for the same this time around, and I am touching wood, Adam.
Yeah. Well, we should just say Barcelona have played, I believe, in 5 of the last 6 Champions League finals, dating back, I think it was 2018-19. They've won 3, lost 2. And they've only lost once in the Europe Champions League this season. That was, of course, away at Manchester City. We all remember that game. It was in the group stage. Won everything else since. Have lost in the league. I know at least twice. Won them to Real Madrid, and I forget the other team. But I know it was Levante. Thank you, Matt. So they are gettable, but it's going to be quite the task. Bonmati, Pateas, I think there's Patry, I think it is as well. You know, they haven't got Kira Walsh anymore, but they've got so many other talents in that team. I mean, be honest, and I'll be brutally honest. Matt, not so obviously we want Arsenal to win. You know, we hope Arsenal can win, but just simply yes or no. Do you honestly believe Arsenal will win?
I sat here and said no when it was asked about the comeback against Lyon. So it's a different kettle of fish. It just, unfortunately, no.
No. Lottie? I mean,
I don't have a definitive answer for that, so don't even go there. My brain says no, my heart says yes. There's your answer.
No, that's fair enough. That's pretty much the same as me. I am going to this game expecting us to lose, and that is nothing against this Arsenal team, who I love to bits and have been brilliant in Europe this season, given us so many memories. But I've been to the last 2 finals. I've been lucky enough to be to the last 2 finals, and Barcelona played in both.
But there's one major difference from the last 2 finals.
Yeah.
Mariona.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say Lucy Bronze isn't there anymore.
No, absolutely not.
That is true. Well, it is true. Lucy Bronze isn't there anymore. But yes, Mariona, who was obviously there for the 2
she's
finals,
irrelevant to my conversation right now.
Yes, Mariona is now with us, and that's why I said at the beginning, if we have got a chance, it will be Mariona and in the midfield against the likes of Bonmati and Pateas, some of the finest midfielders we've ever seen in the game. I expect us to lose. If we win, it'll be the greatest football match result. It'll be, I would say, maybe greater than the Euros when we beat Germany. It's up there, certainly. And it's certainly, when the last time we won, it was against Umea, and they were the Barcelona of their time. They had the likes of Romana Bachmann, Hannah Ljungberg, Marta, a much younger Marta who was right at her prime and was the best player in the world. And Arsenal managed to, over 2 legs, pull a rabbit out the hat, basically. And I mentioned, the Alex Scott winner. This I think is harder. And given we know what our deficiencies are in the team, with the defence, with some of the sloppiness, it's going to be the biggest challenge. But I think that whatever the result, there is no shame that I'll put in this Arsenal team, because I didn't think it's that line from Sam in Samwise Gamgee and All the Rings. By rights, we shouldn't even be here. We should have been knocked out, by Lyon. we were 2-0 down against Real Madrid. We Bayern Munich were ahead of us in the group until like 5 or 10 minutes into the last game. We were losing to BK Häcken in the playoffs. We've come back again and again and again, and the Lyon game just summed that completely. We've been on the ropes, been on the canvas, we've got back up, and we've got that sucker punch in. To have fought all the way to this point, I think is a great credit to Rene, to the players, and I say whatever happens, have the most amazing time, and we will love you, whether it be 4-0 to us or 4-0 to them. It's going to be an amazing occasion, and I'm dead proud of all of them. We'll round off then with a quick sort of discussion on the team. But I think, we saw the team that we obviously had against Manchester United. I think we can agree that if DVD's fit, she'll be in goal. Would you change anything at all? Maybe mix of the attack. Any changes from that lineup that you would alter?
No. Not for
No,
me.
you keep it as Kelly on the right, and
I would,
Ford left.
if we're going to have something change, it would have to be being more defensively solid, which probably means Leah Volti comes in, but I'm not too sure who goes out, if I'm honest.
Would you try and low block them for 90 minutes, or would you play the way? Would you take the game to Barcelona, or would you try and low block them? Because that's what sort of Vic Akers did against Numair. They went very defensive because we didn't have Kelly Smith. We went very defensive and nullified Numair, and then we got a goal late on and won it in the first leg and held out. But do you think or did you? I mean, I would say to take the game to Barcelona would be bold.
I would say that you'd have to. The way Madrid won was basically in the low block, but I don't know if this team is capable of playing as a low block.
That's the thing.
That's what I have an issue with. But anything can happen. We know that impossible is nothing when it comes to these games. Essentially, you can look at any time around this year. You've got playoffs happening, and the impossible happen. Things have happened. I mean, it could be anything is possible, and this is one of the reasons why we love the game so much. I mean, look, who would have thought Wolfsburg would have been 2-0 up against Barcelona in that Champions League final?
Yeah. Who would have thought that Crystal Palace would have beaten Manchester City at the weekend in the men's FA Cup? And I'm taking a lot of inspiration from that, although it will mean that DVD will have to save a penalty, which I'm, fingers crossed on that one. Just away from the game as such and more to the terraces. Obviously, Arsenal fans are going to be out there in force. But as I said, I've been to 2 finals that Barcelona played. And let me tell you, they bring their fans. They are a credit to the sport, a credit to the women's game. They are amazing. I mean, Lottie, how much are you looking forward to having basically? So often we are the bigger voice in the stadium, or I would say in the case of WSL, Manchester United were I thought were pretty offered really strong away support at that game at Emirates Stadium, and I thought fair play. That's I wish more clubs would offer that, but Barcelona are going to be another level. They are going to be potentially loud, if not louder than us. How much are you looking forward to having that a proper, opposition support, to compete with us?
Do you know what? I have it all year round. As much as I enjoy being loud, I'd like someone to actually challenge us for once. It's not going to be us invading Stamford Bridge and sitting in the home stands as well as the shed end. This is going to be a proper game, and I'm really looking forward to it in terms of the atmosphere and just the terms of just being in and around the ground as well. Sporting as a ground is lovely. And yeah, Lisbon is beautiful anyway. I've done a 24-hour trip, so I'm actually staying for a couple of days. I'm quite excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm just really looking forward to it. I think for me personally, I'm a little bit disappointed with the fact where the supporters are meeting up. It's like the other end of town.
Yeah, but
there's so many nice bars.
March. We're going to march through the town.
You realise that's all uphill, and it's about a 45-minute march. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll climb the mountain, and then the players will climb the mountain.
Absolutely not. Good luck. The hills are like that.
We will.
I've had a look at the routes, so.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just get the tube or whatever it is, the metro or whatever it is, and just Uber it to the stadium.
Metro or the trams.
Metro. I can't wait. I've never been to Arsenal and European final, because we hardly ever do, and obviously I was too young for when it was in 2007. I'm very looking forward to the occasion, and my attitude is regardless what happens, I'm going to savor every minute. And I remember, I think back to the FA Cup loss we had to Chelsea, and I was at Wembley, and I just felt terrible just watching it. Just felt like this is just awful. But I know that if that happens against Barcelona, I know I won't care. I'll be a bit, but I know that I'm in a privileged position that not many fans get to, and I'll enjoy every second. We'll round off then with some score predictions. I'll Lottie's shaking her head, so she's saying no. Okay, we'll offer the tap
Absolutely
out on
not.
this one.
I'm sorry. I'm checking out on this one.
Matt,
I'm using my free my free pass for the season. That's it.
Gel free. Matt, do you want to have a chance? Have a guess? I've got mine, so I'm happy.
I want the positive to be at least it wasn't a 4-0 against like Chelsea saw. So I'll happily take it. I'll take it through at this moment in time. Look, the girls, you've said it all. I think everyone's said it all. The team have been fantastic. They've been against all odds this season, and they've got to a final. Essentially, this is what should have happened a couple of years ago, but it just didn't happen.
No.
But if you're going to push me for a result, I'd love for Arsenal to get a goal, just for the sake of it. So
something to take home.
Yeah. I'll say 3-1 Barcelona. Let's not take that away. The girls have done us proud all through the season, and they've really pulled through. So hopefully Kim Lutlis will get to that as well, because I'm sure she's the top Champions League goal scorer for Arsenal as well.
Yeah, probably on, like I said, not this season obviously, but overall. I mean, I was going to say 3-0, but to Barcelona. But I thought, if we could have something like a goal in the Champions League final, only Alex Scott has scored for us in the Champions League final, women's European final, which is clarifying. I would love it if we had something, even if it's the metaphorical, Avengers, all that for a drop of blood, if it was just a consolation, but it's something to take back and go, we scored in that final. What a great goal that was. But the message is just enjoy it. 90 minutes, not many players in their career get the chance to play in even one Champions League final. We've got a few players, obviously, like Mariano, who played in a few, but for most of these, this is going to be. I mean, McCabe was being interviewed about this. She's saying it's the biggest game of the career. It's the biggest game of the career for a lot of these players, and I hope they have the most incredible time and just enjoy yourself. And on that note, it's we'll call it a wrap. We'll call it a day. Call it a night. Just a quick shout out on the socials. Obviously, you can find us on the VAW Pod on Twitter and Blue Sky, and of course on YouTube. If you're watching YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Matt, where can we find you? Oh, there we go. Good, the banner's up. Excellent. So just that. Just follow all those apps, and you'll be fine.
You can find me at MattLR28.
Yep. And Lottie.
You can find me at Lottie_AWFC. Instagram, Twitter. I'm not really on Blue Sky, but I exist.
Yep. You can follow me at Adam_Salter on Twitters and the Blue Skies and the Instagrams. You can also there follow the Arsenal Win archive for plenty of clips and highlights have come up, including our win in the Champions League final, and European final, UEFA Cup, whatever it's called. So far, and hopefully forever, the only British team in the land to have done it. Also, on a side note, if you are following the Gooner, in the build-up to the final, every day we could put an article out detailing the story of that 2007 triumph. The first two parts are out already, so if you haven't already read, do give it a look. The rest of the story will be coming out throughout the week. But on that note, it's time to end. So that's it. The WSL season is over. Arsenal second. We have got Champions League. Let's try and win it, shall we? Come on, you Gunners.